Alright, what is up? It is your boy President Q from 2K Central hitting you guys with the next iteration of our My Career Planner episode 2. This is the center edition. This time we are going to be looking for good pick and roll partners and people who can help us go to Lob City for NBA 2K19. Now remember, the goal of this list is to put you on a team that can benefit you, and that way you're not taking any star player spots. You want to be playing with the stars, not taking their spots. Now let's go ahead and get started. Number 1 was a very hard one, but we're going with the Boston Celtics. Maybe you can move things around, but I would take Al Horford's spot, and if not, try to move him down to power forward or something like that. But let's face it, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, Kyrie, and Jaylen Brown, you want to be playing with them. They're going to be tossing up a lot of bricks, hopefully. They'll be throwing you a lot of lobs, and you'll be able to set a lot of screens for them, whether you want to do the pick and pop or the pick and roll. Next up, we got the Brooklyn Nets. Now this one's pretty easy. I mean, honestly, almost any position except for maybe the point guard and shooting guard, I would recommend you guys to join this team for. I mean, D'Angelo Russell's a pretty decent playmaker. He'll be able to get you a lot of easy passes off the pick and roll, probably throw you a couple of lobs too. You'll get a lot of rebounds off of this guy. Plus, you should be able to get your break starter badge with him because he can hit threes and mid ranges at a pretty consistent level. Other than that, I really wouldn't pick the Nets unless you really like their colors. Next up, the Knicks. Now, much like I said in the last episode, you definitely want to be paired up with Porzingis. I mean, come on. And of course, you got a bunch of shooters around the perimeter. So that means that's a bunch of rebounds for you, a bunch of pick and pops, and a bunch of pick and rolls. Not really any lobs. I don't think you're going to be getting lobs that much with this team. But they'll definitely give you room to post up and get your post moves off, because you're going to have all the spacing in the world. In fact, you might be able to run 5 out with this team. Next up, we got the Chicago Bulls. Now, you'll be taking Robin Lopez's spot on this team when you join the Chicago Bulls. You'll be paired up with Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, Jabari Parker, and Lauri Markkanen. I wouldn't recommend this team mainly because there's not really too many pick and roll partners with, or even pick and pop. If you really like getting rebounds or you just want to play good defense, then this is the place for you. Chicago is known for its defense throughout history. Otherwise, I would recommend another team besides Chicago if you're not focused on being a paint protector. Next up, we got the Cavaliers. Now, I don't know too much about Colin Sexton, but I do know George Hill makes a very good pick and roll partner. He's a pretty decent passer, also a pretty decent shooter, and he also throws up a lot of bricks. I believe he has a high tendency of shooting contested shots, so you'll be able to get a lot of rebounds off of him. Plus, with J.R. Smith and Kyle Korver and Kevin Love around the perimeter, you'll be able to get a lot of spacing for you to be able to do post-ups, slash to the basket, and just do a lot of other big man stuff that you want to do. You won't be able to get a lot of lobs unless it's J.R. Smith, maybe, but there's not too many Lob City passers on this team. But you can pretty much do everything else. Next up, we got the Milwaukee Bucks. You'll be taking Brook Lopez's spot. You'll be able to play with people like Eric Bledsoe, Malcolm Brogdon, Chris Middleton, and Giannis. To be honest, this would be a little bit harder as a big man because you're playing with a lot of other big people, so there's going to be a lot of rebounds getting stolen from you, but you'll be able to run the pick and roll a lot easier. And if you're a stretch big, this team will definitely benefit from having you. Otherwise, if you're an inside or a post scoring big man, this is not the team for you. You're not going to get the most spacing from this team, let's face it, and you're not even going to be able to be a great playmaker because they already have a lot of playmakers on the team. So this team is mainly for the stretch bigs. Next up, we got the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, let's face it, nobody really wants to play for the Hawks right now. They're pretty trash, but you know, if you do want to play for them, well, there's an open spot at center for you. All you have to do is replace Dwayne Dedmon, and that shouldn't take any time. Bright side is you'll be able to play with Jeremy Lin and Trae Young. I mean, they'll be able to throw you lobs, hopefully. And of course, you'll be able to run a simple pick and roll with them, but otherwise, there's not really too many other benefits of playing with Atlanta. I mean, you'll probably get rebounds all day because there's a lot of shooters and you know they're gonna break. And I believe Trae Young's good on the fast break, so you'll be able to get your break starter. And unlike some of the other teams we were just talking about, I believe you'll have plenty of post-up opportunities if you're a post scorer. Next up, we got the Charlotte Hornets. Now, you'll be replacing Frank Kaminsky, and if you were watching Dwight Howard last season, then you guys would know that having Kemba Walker as your point guard seems like a pretty valuable asset. Easy pick and rolls and easy lobs for you all day. Kemba Walker's a pretty nice passer, so if you want that alley-oop finisher badge, you'll definitely be able to get it. You'll be able to get your brick wall badge up pretty high, and much like Frank Kaminsky, you'll also be able to run pick and pop if you're a stretch big. To be honest, Kemba Walker is a pretty good partner to have as your point guard when you're playing center. Next up, we got the Orlando Magic. To be honest, you can take pretty much anybody except Aaron Gordon's spot on this team. I still don't know too much about Jonathan Isaac, but yeah. I mean, you'll have some shooting from Evan Fournier and DJ Augustine. I don't know how I feel taking Nikola Vucevic and Mo Bamba's spots. I mean, I would rather play with these guys rather than take their spots, but if you really like Orlando, this is kind of the place for you. You'll be able to get a lot of opportunities to score because they'll depend on you. You don't have too much floor spacing. But I believe DJ Augustine is a decent playmaker. You'll be able to get a couple of pick and roll opportunities and maybe a couple of lobs. Next up, we got the Portland Trailblazers. You'll be taking Jusuf Nurkic's spot. Now, honestly, this is probably one of the more perfect teams that you would want to play on as a big man. Easy rebounds because you know Lillard and McCollum are going to be letting those things fly. Easy pick and pop opportunities between you and Lillard or you and McCollum. Same for the pick and roll, the lobs, all day. Post up opportunities, because if Jusuf Nurkic can get post up opportunities, you definitely will be able to get it. Plus, you'll have plenty of space. And you know on defense, Damian Lillard and McCollum are going to get blown by all the time. So you're going to get a lot of blocks and a lot of defensive contests. And if you're a paint protector, your bruiser is going to go up all the time. Simply because you're always going to be saving the play by picking up the lack of defense. Next up, we got the Los Angeles Clippers. You'll be taking Marcin Gortat's spot. You got a lot of three-point shooters around you. Actually, all three-point shooters around you. So if you're some kind of playmaking center, a shooting center, or even a post-scoring or athletic finishing center, this is a perfect team for you. Actually, for most big man builds, this is probably the perfect team for you. Nobody really slashes to the basket. They all shoot a lot. You have decent playmakers in Avery Bradley, Lou Williams, and Patrick Beverly. You got all the shooting that you need, so there's going to be so much spacing. It's going to be ridiculous. And if your team goes cold, you get rebounds for days. Also, their defense is decent, but not enough to where you won't be able to get some easy defensive saves with blocks and contests and all that stuff if you're a paint protector. Next up, we have the Sacramento Kings. You'll be taking Willie Cauley-Stein's spot. So with this one, there's really not any spacing. I just hope you understand that you might need to be a stretch big to play with this team, or at least a paint protector, because the Kings not only don't play defense, but their offense has terrible spacing. So don't be an athletic finisher, a playmaking, or a post-scoring big man on this team. It's gonna be a really hard time for you. For everyone else, you should have a pretty decent time as a glass cleaner, a defender, or a stretch big. And finally, the Spurs. You'll be taking Pau Gasol's spot. He's getting old anyways. You'll be paired up with LaMarcus Aldridge, DeMar DeRozan, Patty Mills maybe, and DeJounte Murray, or even Rudy Gay. Plenty of shooting, plenty of spacing, plenty of playmaking. I'd honestly say this is one of the more perfect teams for a center, because any archetype that you possibly want to be, you'll fit in perfect. Rebounding, you can do that. Post scoring, you can do that. Paint protecting, you can do that. Being a stretch big, you can do that. Pretty much everything you want to do is done here. The San Antonio Spurs are my pick for the best team for a center. Now let me know what you guys think, or the teams that I missed. What position would you like me to go over next? And also, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that like button, and come back for more, because you already know 2K Central is your best place to find anything and everything 2K. I'll be having more of these videos coming soon. Also, don't forget to come back for more. But otherwise, this has been your president, President Q, and this has been the My Career Planner for Centers. I'll talk to you guys later. We are out. Peace.